everyone to episode 11 of the Smelly GOON1Es podcast. My name is Paninii. I'm here as always with RiddleDog and War. Our special guest today is Mr. Firestar Boss.
Hello.
How was your first season? Fire.
Well, second season, right? Or you mean first
Your
season
first
captain?
captain. Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
The draft was, it was like good. It was good and bad. I feel like a lot of it was like, there was a lot of stress at like the beginning.
Yeah.
But then once like the draft came out, it was pretty smooth sailing. I feel like it's been a fun time.
Yeah, I think in general this has been a pretty fun season so far. Let's just hop right into it. I know we definitely everyone's been talking about the playoffs. I was hoping to get the podcast in before the playoff game started, but they kind of snuck up on me. So we already got 3 games so far. So like, what were you guys' opinions so far of your games? I know War. I know you played in one of the playoff games. So
Fire played in another of the playoff games.
That's
so
true,
I mean,
that's
we
true.
can both talk about ours. I don't know. My experience was here's the thing, right? We didn't know if we were gonna make the playoffs, right? We're just like, we show up, we're happy to be here, you know? We take a map, happy to be here. That's all I say. I had Neptune. I was looking at him. He swapped Torbjorn on Hollywood and Neptune on the Cyrus. He always preached this like God Torbjorn spot. So I go up on high ground and I kill Neptune's turret. That's all I care about at the end of the day. Like, sometimes you can't diff everything, but if you can diff a Neptune turret, like that's what you got to be proud of. So I'm just happy we got there, happy we got to have a good time, and very excited to see how the Quails and the rest of the teams do throughout the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, I think you guys played really well. The Quails had that really interesting trade. I guess we haven't talked about it yet, but that trade going from Elko to Neptune. It is very interesting coming that late in the season. I'm really curious to see like kind of how that's going to affect like what the Quails normally run, because I know Elko and Neptune are both very good players, but I think they do have a separate like a pretty separate hero pool. So I'm really curious what comps the Quails are going to be going to. I know we did see a little bit from that one game, but I guess we'll see throughout the playoffs as they're going on to play the Slouchers next. The Slouchers also looked really dominant against the Froggies. The Quail, I think actually like the Foxians played really well against the Quails. I think the Foxians did make like a lot of big mistakes that the Quails kind of capitalized on, but I think there were moments where you guys looked really good, especially like Akua showing up. We didn't know if Akua was going to be there. Played crazy, so
I'm not here to harp on our mistakes. That's all I gotta say. I'm just glad we got a map at the end of the day. Like, not every team could say that. Fire.
damn.
Whoa.
Okay, I took my
Yeah.
audio levels up, so that should be better. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Fire.
it was-
What happened in your game? Give us a breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, we came in like, I don't know, semi-confident of like at least putting up a map like the Foxians did, and I think we made it super close for the control. We just made like a couple bad errors. We ended up winning the subsection that we like fat fingered 2 ults, and one of them was a Juno
Oh my
ult,
God.
and we still ended up winning that. That was like the one map we won against them. Yeah, but I mean, it's not really like a shocker that we lost to the Roosters. I feel like we kept it like close for the control, and then like once it went, what was it? It was Shambali, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what we did.
Yep.
Yeah, Shambali I feel like was still kind of close, and then I just went to the dive, and it was kind of falling apart. But it's just kind of what happens when you play against the Roosters. You know, like they're just like clearly the dominant team. So
Yeah, but like I said about the Foxians too, I think you guys did have those like flashes of potential. I think getting a lot of those first picks like against the Roosters like really kind of put your team in a good position. Like you said, the fat finger and the 2 ults, I was getting really scared for that map, but you managed to
yeah,
pull
we
it off
still
on,
won it.
Icebreaker, I think was the one that you guys won.
Yeah.
But yeah. I know that there was that big meta change, so I'm kind of surprised outside of that one map from the Foxians where I was kind of really egging them on to play the Mauga. We didn't see any Mauga. I know the kind of sentiment is that we're entering like a hard Mauga mirror. Was it Mauga? I think Reaper Echo, I think is what I've seen a lot of.
Echo,
Yeah.
and then Juno
I mean,
breakback line.
Some sim.
Sim?
It depends on what DPS you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
I'm kind of
similar stuff,
surprised we haven't really seen any of that from the playoff team so far. So, I'm wondering like, are there any teams that you guys think are going to be playing that Mauga?
I don't
Like
want to
Sea
leak
Dragons,
anything.
NVO.
The Purple
Probably.
Apes and the Sea Dragons, though, probably.
Roosters, too.
Definitely, yeah.
The Roosters is the one team that I was kind of wondering about, because you would probably know this better than me, Fire, but I thought I heard Wind say something like there was an agreement not to run Malga. Is
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Me and Win both agreed that we didn't want to play any Malga, so we just didn't play Malga.
So do you think
like his sentiment was, I think, because he runs like the Malga stuff with his like Mankato team, so like Foos, Topaz, and Moon are really comfortable on like the Malga comps, and he's like also comfortable, but I assume his team probably didn't play too much of it, and he just like didn't want that advantage. But like I also just haven't played a lot of Malga, so like I was happy to take that trade as well. So
do you think that like as their next game in the playoffs, if they don't have that agreement, do you think that Wind is gonna break out the Malga?
probably
Yeah.
I could see, I know like at least if they play against the Sea Dragons, I could see them making like him talking with Melon, because I assume they're, well, it's Foos like cousin or something, right? So
Wait, I didn't know that.
I didn't know
Is
that. I knew
true?
they were close. I knew Melon and Foost was the big.
I thought Melon and Foos were related. Am I am I in the wrong?
I'm not sure.
I mean, they were on the Bunger Brigade, I think, last year, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think they are friends at least. So
I thought
I
they were
would-
like cousins.
I wouldn't surprise me
I mean,
if they
they may.
were. They might be.
Yeah.
but-
I will say like Sea Dragons as well. I have seen them playing like the Malga and
Yeah.
scrims against the Quails, and like Melon's like been playing really well. I was really impressed with his tank, especially like recently at the end of the season. On like any hero he picked up, it was looking really good.
Yeah, I want to say that I know on the Bunger Brigade last season, Melon was playing a lot of that Winston, but I think from what we have seen, he has also been really good at Ramatra Orisa. I haven't really seen him play very much of the Malga, but that's another thing that wouldn't surprise me if he was really good at. So it's like this entire season, it's been like a really good meta for Melon. So I think the Sea Dragons are also like in a good spot to make some noise, I guess, coming up. I think big thing is like the Apes and the Sea Dragons. I feel like are both like really good teams. So it's kind of disappointing that one of them is going to get eliminated in the first round, but I guess that's got to happen eventually. So
Yeah,
I think everybody at the start of playoffs was like, that's going to be the closest match for sure.
Yeah.
And we all knew like that match was coming up, like no matter what. I know there's the whole like the higher seed gets to pick who they want, and then the second seed gets to pick, third seed gets to pick. We all knew it was going to be fourth and fifth no matter what. Like,
yeah.
I'm just excited to see how it goes down.
So speaking of that game, like what are your guys' kind of predictions, or what are you kind of expecting for the Apes Sea Dragons game? I don't want to talk too much
Are we
about it,
making
'cause
official predictions now?
if
Is
you
this
want
the
to.
time, Panini?
I would just, if you want to just discuss like what you kind of are expecting, who you think is gonna pop off, anything like that.
Okay, I'll start it off. Give me Purple Apes 3, 2, 1, in my opinion.
Damn.
I don't know exactly how that's gonna happen. I think that they, from what I've heard from my sources, whether that be Panini or Toon Critter or Tommy, I think they've been practicing a lot, and I know the Sea Dragons have been practicing a lot, but it feels like the Purple Apes have a good understanding of the meta and also what the Sea Dragons are probably gonna play. So I guess I'm a bit biased from the people I'm hearing from, but I think Purple Apes are gonna take it. I think that their losses throughout the regular season were simply flukes.
I guess we'll see. What do you think, Riddle? Who are you picking?
I think it could be Sea Dragons 3-2. I don't know.
Now that I'm looking
I'm
at it,
just
I was
confident in
looking.
the Sea Dragons.
Yeah,
Here you
I was
go.
looking at the Pred panel, and you did not actually predict anyone that game.
Yeah. I
So
mean-
the overall right now, Apes are 7-2 in terms of the Pred panel. If that gives you guys any context.
That's kind of crazy. By
Actually,
the way.
wait,
I feel like
6
it
to
should
2.
not. Okay,
It's 6
that's
to 2.
closer. That's still kind of crazy in my opinion. I feel like it should be less like
Go make it 5
one-sided
and
on
5.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. TC has been catching me sleeping this season by putting in the Apes every week, and I have to like go in and like catch it and be like, no. But he was the 7th one, so I just took that off. So now it's Apes 6-2. But yeah, I'm also kind of surprised because I was expecting it to be like I wouldn't be surprised if the Apes were like favored in the matchup, but I wasn't expecting it to be 6-2. I was expecting it to be like, you know, maybe 5-4 or something like that. So,
Yeah, and I mean, the Sea Dragons lost to the Owls 3-1 last week sort of makes
That's-
it.
I
You know,
don't
it
remember.
makes it a little difficult, but I mean, I didn't see it. I just saw the score.
I think
Right, but
Fire Carter told me this. He was telling me he thinks that the Sea Dragons can beat any team in the league, but they also can lose to any team in the league. So
yeah,
it's
Like, that's
it's one of those like,
true.
what
You
Sea
just sorta-
Dragons are we gonna
what-
get?
What
Yeah,
Sea
What
Dragons
catch
do we
them on.
see?
exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like what Bobcats do we see with the even odd week thing?
Yeah.
Even or odd week, yeah.
Yep.
Or ringer
That's-
or no ringer.
Yeah. Well, usually those two things corresponded.
True,
This
true, yeah.
wasn't in my outline here, but as I know a lot of the players in the podcast right now were involved. How are you guys feeling about the Bobcat Zillas game?
Oh,
I didn't
banger!
see it.
Absolute banger! Oh my god!
Banger match.
Wait! Hang on. This do not put this on. Write this down. Do not say this anywhere. That's the biggest banger match. That's the award for biggest banger
It
right
has
there.
to be.
It has to be. Like I mean, I was talking to people after that, and I'm like, yo, I know we do like the top 10 plays of the week, right? And we could probably do like top 10 plays of the season, top 10 plays of like the decade, the century, you know? I think we could at least get 7 plays in there from that
Yeah,
match alone.
For sure.
In my opinion. Like, no matter how you count it.
I think either it's gonna be biggest banger, or I think there's gonna be probably the best clip is gonna be in there. I know there were a lot of very good clips. I think
Yeah.
my sleeper.
Ruben had a nice one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people had really good clips in there, but I think my sleeper is Booty saying, "I want that big dog in me." No context. But yeah, that
Yeah.
we're joining from a McDonald's and in the car, them pulling in. Ruben is the one they pulled in right after the spawn doors opened.
I saw Vin was in there.
That was Topaz.
Topaz
Topaz got
was
pulled in
Topaz.
on KR, and he said, "Put me back, put me back." But then Vin got put in on Coliseo, and they were gonna take him out, and Vin said, "Don't you dare." And then
Yeah.
Vin just like stayed in their call the entire map. Basically, he went diva, and they were like, "If you eat the pulse, you can stay." And so he ate the first pulse, and then he missed the second one and got dragged out.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy.
It was-
Um,
I am really hoping for that same vibe coming up for some of the bowl games. I'm not sure exactly which ones are going to happen. I'm not sure if any bowl games are going to happen, but I really hope that we get at least one, and I hope they have that same kind of vibe and that same kind of energy.
Yeah, it was the funniest part about it is since it was like a LAN and it was the first LAN, it was like kind of high production too.
Yeah.
Like people wanted to watch like this like first time doing the LAN, and it was just like absolute chaos. But it felt like when we finished the match, it felt like everyone had a good time, like regardless of the team.
Yeah.
And like for Aurora and for like a match that doesn't really count, I feel like that's all you really like wanted out of that.
Yeah.
So like I'm really happy with the outcome.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that's like, I think putting it in like a competitive environment, maybe if it was like the Bobcats could have been eliminated from the playoffs or anything like that, it's like that's a lot higher stakes, but the fact that I think that really it wasn't going to move the Bobcats up, it wasn't going to move the Zillas up or down, like, it did make a huge difference, so I feel like that's one of the ones, like the bowl games too, it's like, I think everyone should just kind of join in, have fun, make it more of like a community, kind of like a Pugs, make it more of like community Pugs than make it like an official, like, try hard sweat match. But I don't know if you guys have heard any rumors about if any teams that are eliminated from the playoffs want to have their bowl games. I also
know
wouldn't be surprised if some of
me
the
and
teams that
Flopback a couple are thinking about doing it now. A couple wants to, and
Yeah.
I have to ask my team. So
I also wouldn't be surprised if some of the teams that got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs would be interested in doing bowl games. I know it's kind of like on the bracket, it's kind of like set up like that, but I think it's like if there's two teams that want to play each other, like if the Bobcats want to play the Floppers or anything like that, I feel like that's one where it's like you can just make a bowl game for that. And then we'll probably try to get it prodded and everything. So those
I
are
feel
more
like our
just
team
to
would
have
be
fun.
willing to play as well.
Yeah.
I don't
Like-
know if our team would be willing to play,
I
but
don't
I'd be
know.
willing to play. Just put in 5 wars, you know?
The Froggists, I'm not sure about them either. I know a lot of the players on that really like playing with each other, so I would be surprised to see that go into a bowl game, but I guess we'll find out. I'm hoping to get some like information from some of these captains, hopefully when this week ends. But yeah, so another thing about the playoffs too is let's go ahead and jump into our like Preds. So we know that the Slouchers and the Quail are going to play each other in the next round, and then the winner of the Ape Sea Dragons will be playing the Roosters. Are there any people that you guys are like thinking are going to win or make a run or anything like that? What are your takes so far, just going into the semifinals here?
Me personally, I'm very back and forth on the Quails and the Slouchers because I hold both those teams in like really high regard, in my opinion. I think that the added flexibility with Neptune being in the lineup for the Quails helped them a lot. But then you talk about the Slouchers, who have a 7-man lineup who can run like a whole assortment of different lines. I think that has really helped them stay consistent throughout the entirety of the Aurora season, in my opinion. Like, they have consistently done well in whatever meta, and if they're losing, hey, at least it's close. Technically, if they're winning, it's also close too, because
Yeah.
like
Even if they like shouldn't even be close.
This is their
so
first
close.
3-0, but it feels like they're kind of in the same boat as the Sea Dragons, where like win or lose, it is extremely close both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. Like Sea Dragons and Slouchers are both, they're in like scenarios where they can punch up, but then they also like get punched, like get punched down. I think like if either of those teams lock in, like they could beat the team that they're going against. It's just like depending on like on the day, like how they're feeling and like if they actually are locking in for the matches. I think the Quails versus Slouchers is probably going to be closer regardless, but I think like the Sea Dragons Apes are going to be a lot more dependent on if Sea Dragons are locking in. Because I think like I agree with Tyler. I think they could like 3-2 Purple Apes, but I think it's more likely that they're going to get 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually made I forgot. I don't know if we actually got you to make a
Yeah, I
prediction.
didn't.
So you'd say 3-1 Apes.
Probably,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, lock it in, chat. I'm gonna say Apes 4-0. We beat them
Ooh,
so hard the third
Yeah.
map. They get it. We get an extra one.
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
No, I don't usually like making Preds on my own game. I do feel like, as you guys have said, I think it's gonna be a close match. I could see it going either way. One thing I also want to just go ahead and say real quick is out of the 5 teams that are left, I feel like those have been kind of the top 5 teams all season. So I think every one of those teams kind of deserves to be in that conversation for grand finals or championship, because I think that those are all very good teams. I think they've kind of been performing very well all season.
Yeah.
I know I've heard kind of the sentiment around the league is that this season in general has been pretty competitive. But let me actually check. I think it's like, out of those 5 teams, I don't think any of them have more than 3 losses, right? The Sea Dragons are 8-3, and that's the lowest seed. So like those have been like pretty dominant teams. All 5 of them have been really dominant throughout the season.
Right, and we're finally back to seeing no teams just like sweep the regular season though, which is I think a good tell in my opinion. I think that helps.
It's been really interesting because a lot of these teams are kind of their losses are coming against each other too. So that to me is a sign that I think those 5 teams are also really well balanced. Like they're pretty even. So like the Quails beat the Slouchers, the Quails beat the Roosters, the Quails lost to the Apes and the Sea Dragons, and the Sea Dragons beat the Roosters. Like they're all like winning and losing to each other. So I think that like this is gonna kind of come down to just who plays better that day. I think, because I think on paper I think all these teams are like genuinely very close. So.
And that's the reason we don't bring up the previous matches. Like, we didn't talk about what happened in the first bout between the Quails and the Slouchers. We didn't talk about what happened in the first bout between the Purple Apes and the Sea Dragons. And in my opinion, that doesn't matter. What matters is right now.
Yeah, especially like we said earlier too, entering a new meta, like anything could happen. As we kind of saw from the previous games, like I said, though, they're kind of defaulting to the previous meta, but we'll see like if any of those adjustments get made throughout the playoffs, that could really make a difference. Like you could have 2 teams that are really competitive on like Orisa or Ramatra, but like if you see, like let's just say out of nowhere Yak learns the Malga and then Yak plays Malga into the Quails, like that could be a completely different game than what we have right now with like if they both play the Orisa or anything like that. But Let me see. My pick. So, honestly, I do want to pick the Quails against the Slouchers for that game. But I decided I'm going to go off of my WWE simulation I did, where the Slouchers and the Roosters made the finals and the Roosters won. I think that is something that is believable enough to me that I can just commit to it for the bit. So I'm going to pick the Slouchers over the Quails. And then I'm going to pick regardless of... So I think in my sim, I think the Apes lost to the Sea Dragons. So I'm going to say Roosters beat the Sea Dragons, Slouchers beat the Quails, and then Roosters beat the Slouchers. It's my playoff bracket right now.
Gotcha.
I think it would be hard to like not have the Roosters as the overall one. I know they did lose to the Quails very recently, but they have looked very good all season, and that was also down KC down for I believe more than half the maps.
Yeah, I think they also did lose to the Sea Dragons earlier too. But yeah, I do think it is fair to say the Roosters are kind of the favorites going into the playoffs, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see them get upset by the Apes or the Sea Dragons, or even like if they go to the finals, like lose to the Slouchers or Quails. Like, I think they are the best team right now, but I also don't think they're that far and ahead that I would like lock it, you know?
Yeah. I will say also, like, what you were saying about the Quails versus the Roosters, how the Quails, like, did end up winning against the Roosters, but they were down Casey. But I think there's also an argument to be made that Neptune didn't play with the Quails for as long.
That's also
so,
a good point.
Like, and you know the Quails are, like, scrimming 2 days a week usually, so it's very likely that, like, Neptune's gonna get more, like, integrated with the team, and then you could see just, like, a repeat in the finals.
Yeah.
But I will say that Neptune, after that match, said that that was God tier Neptune right there, you know? And, like, I feel like you don't always get God tier Neptune.
Yeah.
Like, that could happen in the finals, but it's also possible that doesn't happen in the finals. I'm not trying to hate on the guy. Like, we were talking before the podcast. Neptune, best player in the league, of course. But, like, are we going to get that level of Neptune?
Or...
I mean, I'm not saying anything, okay? Like, I'm not making any crazy claims right now. I'm not bringing out last season's grand finals because it's this season, you know?
True, but...
And
I will
also bring up too, I've noticed there's been like a lot of people getting sick, so I'm really hoping that that's not going to make a difference either. So like it would be like terrible if you have like Neptune or AST or someone like that like have some sort of Jordan flu game or something like that. I guess that's not the right use of Jordan flu game. That's another thing. It's like I really want to make a prediction, but it's like there's so many variables, and I think that the teams are so close. It's like there could be a whole lot going on. But yeah, did anyone not make their playoff picks for at least the Slouchers Quail? No,
I don't think I said anything, so
yeah,
I'll just go Quails 3-2s over Slouchers. Because then it's copium, because then we lost to the best team, you know? That's the only reason I'm saying it.
Fair. I will say 3-1. I'll say 3-1 Slouchers.
I'll say 3-1, and no, 3-2 Quails. I'll agree with 4.
Do you have a map pick, Fire?
I'd say most likely 3-1, but maybe 3-2. Quails.
Quails. Damn, everyone picking Quails 3-2.
I mean, I can. It's the most likely to happen, I think, but it's still definitely possible, like doable from the Slouchers.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I believe in the GOAT, Flambeau Jambo. I see he's in chat right now.
Just distraught.
Yeah. And I think we kind of talked about the Ape Sea Dragons. So do you guys think the Roosters are going to beat the winner of that game too?
Not necessarily. I know I said I think the Roosters are going to win, but not necessarily. I don't want to make that prediction yet.
Between those three teams, who would you guys predict to be in the finals? Against the Quails, I guess, if you guys all pick the Quails. Roosters. Roosters.
Well, Roosters is the low-hanging fruit here. It's like, do we take the
hot take. The correct answer.
Or do I take the team that has one game?
War, you should make a hot take. What's your hot take?
Dude, you know what my hot take is gonna be. I'm the person that, like, I don't know, 7 weeks ago on the last podcast, whenever it was, I said that the Purple Apes should go undefeated for the rest of the regular season and playoffs. And how'd that age? Not that good. So I'm afraid to take risks now, okay? I'm risk adverse at this point.
So are you saying you're gonna predict the Roosters?
Yeah, low-hanging fruit. I take it.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, they still haven't lost in the playoffs yet, so you can make the Pred right now war.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. If
What
you
about
if
you,
you if you
Fire?
have seen my prediction like track record, it's not good. It's not good, chat.
Yeah.
Like
We'll get there
we
later.
have not had any predictions right, I think, ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what Riddle and War were saying. Like the low hanging fruit is also the best hanging fruit. Like it just has to be Roosters. I see a possibility of Apes upsetting. Unlikely, but I don't know if like Sea Dragons. I feel less like confident about that matchup.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. We'll see how Who's Yap in North Dakota shows out too, because I do believe in my team. I definitely believe in us versus the Sea Dragons, but I am a little scared of that Who's Yap in North Dakota guy. He's been like insane all season, so I mean, regardless of our match, I think if I were to pick someone, I would also pick the Roosters to face off against the Quail or face off against the Slouchers. Because I have to go with my WWE thing, so that's my excuse to pick the Roosters. But yeah, so you guys think Roosters Quails? Is that you guys all agree on that?
Yeah, I think.
So
Yeah.
do you
But I
guys all
could
pick
see
the
Stuff
Roosters?
definitely changing.
I know you guys are saying the Roosters are the favorite. Do anyone want to make any hot takes? No.
I don't know if
Or
I want to
3
stand up and make a
Quails.
hot take right now.
You got to make
I feel
one at some
that's
point.
risky. I'm gonna make some
4-3
hot takes later.
Quails.
Trust.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
thinking. In the
Well,
playoffs.
Okay, here's what I want to say. If this podcast happened after the Purple Aids and Sea Dragons games, I'd make some crazy takes then. Like I would say, I would say that like if the Purple Apes or Sea Dragons look really, really good in those games, I would say that like either of them could win, in my opinion. I think, you know what my hot take is gonna be? I think that somebody from the upper half of the bracket's gonna win. I don't think the Quails or Slouchers is gonna win.
Oh, that upper half. Okay, I thought you meant like
yeah
versus
well,
the bowl game, and I'm like, yeah, like
4 feed. Like what the heck? That's crazy. Yeah, I think that the upper bracket's gonna beat the lower bracket. So either Purple Apes, Sea Dragons, or Roosters.
Yeah.
And sure, there's more teams there, but like it evens out because one of them is gonna be eliminated before.
So you mean like the Rooster
most
side is
people.
gonna win?
The Rooster side is gonna win.
yeah.
So Roosters, Purple Apes, and Sea Dragons.
I can
That's
see
my
that.
take.
How can you say that so confidently when Quails just beat Roosters?
True.
You gotta understand what goes on in War's mind when he makes these hot takes, okay?
I cannot believe War does not believe in Neptune. I thought you guys were friends.
True.
No,
Now he's like,
he
Neptune's
egoed me.
really your
off
goat.
He
now.
egoed me.
He
One
egoed
day,
you?
I
That's true.
swear. Let me just pull up my DMs with him. I'll find something.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yup.
So I mean, I think we did a pretty good dig into the playoffs here. I also want to talk about some of the like awards coming out. It's like a lot of them. It's like some of them are kind of weird. It's like, you know, the I'm so excited award. Like you never know what's gonna happen with that. The Ghostbusters award. I don't know, but I think I have a pretty good idea of who at least I'm looking at to win some of these awards. So do you guys want to start at the lower end, like some of the smaller awards, and move up, or do you want to start at the big boy awards?
Sure.
And the lower
I think
ones?
starting at the lower end's good, but I think feel free to skip the like I'm so excited award and like hold up, let them cook award if we don't have any good ideas for them.
The one that I'm most interested in is what you guys think for Shapeshifter.
That's a good.
I have biased takes. I'm ready to make biased takes.
I'm ready to make biased takes.
I'm ready to
too.
make so many biased takes. Fire! I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Let's-
go at you on this one.
I'll
You're gonna
make
go take for take.
I'll make a biased take and an unbiased take. So my biased take for Shapeshifter is Fire Carter. He's played all the roles this season.
Grr.
He's moved around a lot. Yeah.
Bro, when has bro played tank? Never.
No,
True.
Sea Dragons. I think when we played the Sea Dragons, he played tank. But yeah, maybe we pull it out in the playoffs. You never know.
Oh, maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
if you
put him on
really
Mauga.
need it, if you really need it for the Shapeshifter award, you could put him on
Yeah.
in prime time.
But I think another good shout that I would like to give out is Yak. I think we've seen him. I think he has played all the roles this
That
season.
was my shout.
Yeah. And it's like, I think we've kind of saw this coming too after the Bunger Brigade, just out of nowhere, him playing tank. It looked really good. I think he's performed very well tank and support. We know that he's like a really good mechanically skilled player, but a lot of times making those changes, it's kind of hard to like adjust and how to adjust the playstyle. And I think like he has just gotten to the point where I think his raw mechanics are just so good that he's able to kind of play everything really well.
I think that's valid. However, when you think about Shapeshifter award, when you think about that award, you're thinking about somebody who goes in there expected to stay in their lane, expected to, you know, do one thing, and they show up to be a multi-role talent.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we knew he could pop off on all roles, but Dire from the fixture of Foxians, only player to have. That's actually not true, but he has won maps on all 3 roles this season, and I will go down in history saying that. And when he's on support, he's diffing. When he's on tank, he's diffing, and when he's on DPS, he's diffing.
When did he play DPS?
I don't know. On Circuit Royale and on Antarctic Peninsula against the team, and he diffed.
Why did you put Dire on DPS?
Because Dire showed up to the match and he said, word for word, chat, I want to play DPS. Put me on DPS.
It's because they're down one of the players.
He started diffing. Yeah. That's what I gotta say.
That's all you had to say.
I mean,
yeah.
I do know the Foxians have been cooking with that, so I think that Randy, War, I don't think he played tank, but I think Randy and Dire and who's the other one? Jack have played.
Jack has played all 3, and technically all 3 of them have won a map on all 3 roles, I believe.
But at the same time, like, I feel like a lot of that is just like goofy silly, and I feel like you get to like, Yak and Fire Carter have been swapping very, what's the word? They've been doing it like on purpose. Like it makes sense. It fits with the comps and everything like that. So,
I think it's impossible not to give it to one of the slouchers, because like every single game they come up on a different comp.
Yeah.
Like everyone's playing a different role like sometime. I know they played a comp with AST on tank for one of their matches.
I don't think I saw that, but that wouldn't surprise me. I know Flambeau played tank.
Yeah.
He played tank and support.
You have
Sky
Flambeau off
plays
rolling.
support.
Sky goes to support occasionally. You have Yak playing all the roles.
Yeah.
It's like, and like I would make the case for Yak obviously because like he's 2800 and he does really well in the support role. But like, you could also make a case for like AST obviously because he's just doing good on another role that he doesn't normally play.
Yeah.
Like Flambeau is like just big team player. Like he'll just swap onto tank whenever he wants to, and like it seems like there's so much flexibility in there, and it's like that has to be Shapeshifter somewhere.
I know the Washington Overwatch team, I think as a whole, won Shapeshifter Award in Season 2. Was that correct? Riddle, you'd probably know that. But that sounds right. Just going off your gut, does that sound
Teddy.
right? Oh, you think it was just Teddy?
It was just Teddy in Season 2.
Yeah. But I know that was, I think all the
looking at that
nominations, are from that team, because I think Corey and Teddy swapped a lot, and Raz, I think, was going support to DPS, and then I don't remember who else was on that team. Was that the Fedora Master team?
Yeah.
I think he was also swapping a little bit, but...
Fedora, Corey, Nuttier, Raz.
Nuttier was the other one, I think, yeah. Shapeshifter also is one of those really weird awards where it's like kind of like a goofy silly award, but I feel like people get like really competitive about it. Like people really want to be winning that award. They really want to be like noticed for their flexibility and everything like that. So I think that's one of the really fun awards. But yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised to see Yak get it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fire Carter get it. Dire, I think, is kind of a dark horse. I do kind of agree with you that I think he has looked really good at that support. It's like no one really, when you think of Dire, you think of him on tank, you think of him on the Numbies playing a lot of like.
Hey, his first season he signed up as a support player. That's all I gotta say.
Really, I didn't know that, but his
I just
honor
never
was really
played
good.
him on support.
What else? Biggest banger. Right now, I feel like a lot of people are kind of gonna lean towards that Bobcats game. In terms of the actual like competitiveness, Let me think. Let me think. Any games that have been this season that have been like just super
Nope.
close?
Not better than the one you
Wasn't
just
there a
mentioned.
reverse sweep?
No, there've been no
recently?
reverse
No?
sweeps this season. So far at least.
Dude, that was perfectly synced war.
Let's see.
If you're talking about close games, you could recently give it to the Quails versus Roosters was
Yeah.
pretty close, but there were a lot of like I think there's a lot of like, oh, Neptune just started playing on a team. Oh, Casey Dunn is out.
That's
oh, weird inconsistency situations. And then if you're talking about other games, I think like and I know this is kind of like contradictory, but I think the sheer amount of like close 3-2 games there have been, right? Like you'll have like a team like the you'll have a team like the Quails and the Purple Apes going 3-2. You have a team like the Slouchers and the Sea Dragons going 3-2, and then you'll also have like the Owls and the Quails going 3-2, right? There's been a lot of like really close games that I don't think you can give it to like a close game like straight out just because it was close in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think there has to be some other context added on top of it. So I think we're going to see that from the playoffs, or it's just the one that's most deserving of it anyways, the Bobcats.
One of them I do want to give a shout to that I think was a close game, and there were a lot of implications, and I think it was just really interesting to watch, was that Foxians Frogus game. I think that was a really close game, and it basically, that game itself, in hindsight we didn't know this because I think that was the first game that happened, but that basically sent the Foxians to the playoffs, so a lot of implications. It was a really close game, very entertaining to watch. I think that's another one that I feel like could be kind of in the conversation for biggest banger, but
You give it to Quails Owls 3-2.
that was the 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Quails Owls, yeah, or Owl Sea Dragons could be another really good one. But yeah, I think there were a lot of big bangers this season. Like we kind of said, like this is a really competitive season. I think it's definitely been kind of the most entertaining one in a while. We haven't had a lot of those like big steamroll, like undefeated teams. We haven't had any like, well, I guess the Snobble tier, but even like the Zillas and the Lancers still have had moments where they look competitive, even though they haven't been winning a lot of games. I think they still kind of like, you wouldn't look at those teams and say like this is a bad team. They definitely do have some strengths in there.
I don't mean to like make fun of like my team, Fire's team, or like I guess Tribe's team, but like you could put the Owls in the playoffs, and they at like some points in time might have a better shot than us of making it to the next round. Like they looked like amazing when they're actually like all playing their best.
I think it's
what I gotta say.
It's probably a very cold take to say the Owls are probably the best 2-9 team in Aurora history. Because like, wait, what was their 2 wins were against the Snobble tier and the Sea Dragons?
Yeah.
Almost beating the Quails too is like, that's a big that's crazy.
I was gonna say what you're talking about with like how the season's been pretty close, and it feels like there's been a lot of captains who like, I mean, I know like for me, Milo and Yak, like it's our first time captaining.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of like first captains, and yet like the teams are still like pretty balanced. It's like obviously I don't want to ego, but like I feel like we did a really good job like for first captains. Like,
Tommy
picking
Slat's
like
another
balanced
one.
teams. Yeah, exactly.
I do think Tommy and Fire are both like super interesting, because you guys not only are first-time captains, but this is, between the two of you, this is your second season in Aurora. So I know I was talking to Riddle in the offseason a lot. I was like, are you going to allow people that have like just joined the league to be captains? Because like joining like that and trying to draft a team that quickly, it's like there's a lot of people you just don't know. So especially with the draft, it can be a lot harder if you're newer. But the fact that both of you guys made the playoffs is like really impressive. Like that's just
Milo didn't, but
yeah. But
I
2 out of 3 is
I
pretty
don't
good.
know. Yeah, I think it's like less about the experience and more about like being willing to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like I got help from Sully, I got help from War. I spent like 15 hours or something on my draft plans. Like it's more of like how much time you want to invest into learning about players instead of like actually knowing about them.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm sitting in a call with Sully and he's like basically goes through the whole list, explains all the players that I don't know, and like that he knows, and if he'd recommend, he would not recommend. Like my sheet was like full. I think I showed some people at the MNSU LAN like my draft sheet, and there's so many notes on there, and it's like it's more about the effort you put in than like how much experience you have. Fire for admin.
True.
Anyways, more of the awards.
So,
Speedrun predictions.
I know we didn't really talk about this, but I do genuinely, my pick for I'm so excited is the stats. I have decided that is going to be what I do my admin campaign on. I am going to get these stats working. I'm going to get them integrated into the prod, and I think we're at the point right now where I don't want to make any promises yet, but it looks really good. I'm really hoping that happens because I think that would just be really cool. Like, look at your stats, see how you're kind of like racking up against some of the other players. Yeah, Booney, I know you're in chat. I know you're on Aurora Esports MN. I am the one that is making you do this. You are in the gulag right now, grinding away at this little stats program you're doing. But I am really excited about that in general. And I do want to give a shout out to Booty. He's doing a lot of very hard work behind the scenes. So I don't think we can appreciate that boy enough, that man, that Giga Chad. I don't know if there's anything else that we're kind of expecting next season to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're kind of like expecting anything else going into next season. I don't know if there's any anything that's coming up that you guys want to share. Riddle, you probably know more than I do.
I mean, yeah. So first thing, make sure to change topic.
Oh shit!
On the screen, but also, this season was longer. It was supposed to be 8 weeks, I want to say, but we made it 11 because we wanted to sort of get on a general schedule a lot of the time because we don't want to sort of interfere with holidays or school finals and stuff because it's a lot harder to sort of do stuff around that time especially. And so that's why this season a little bit longer to sort of make up for that empty time, because of when we started the season, because before it'd be like, oh, we just ended one, let's just start one like as soon as we can after we talk about rulebook and stuff internally. But yeah, the reason this season was supposed to end a lot earlier, I want to say around this time as well, but it got delayed because captains wanted a week between draft and first week game. They also wanted an extra week added on to week 11 so these goobers could play their match in Mankato as well. And then another week after that as well to sort of get stuff going because scheduling stuff, I don't know. But
yeah.
So that's why it's taking so long, and we're hoping to sort of get the turnaround for this next season to come around earlier, start like mid to late January probably, and like sort of I'll say April, like mid-April, mid-late April as well, so it's like before those finals in school and before like Easter and spring break and stuff like that as well. Or spring break is usually in April for a lot of schools, but it really just depends. But that's sort of what I'm excited for, at least that we know next season. And sort of just get on the schedule.
I got a new friend here.
Oh my gosh.
I want to introduce this to the chat. This is Oreo. This is my new little kitty cat.
Oh my god.
I just woke her up because she was sleeping, but I just wanted to share that. I'm really excited about my new cat. But yeah, let me think. I'm going to touch on this a little bit later too. Another thing that's coming up soon is the 6v6 tournament. I'll give you some more details later, but that's another thing that's coming up soon that I'm kind of excited about. Yeah, I guess let's move on. Let's see what else. Best meme, I genuinely, I feel like last season there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. I don't think there were a lot of memes, but I think there's been a lot.
Geyser's Orange was pretty good.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I don't think there wasn't really any other. This season we have like the hashtag for admin. We have Who's Yappin' North Dakota. We have Win Ringing for everyone. We have the power rankings beef with the Quails. I think there's been like a lot of
even week.
Bobcats even week. There's been a lot. So I think that could go to like any one of those. I have absolutely no idea who's gonna get best meme, but I think it's gonna be a very contentious category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slouchers never 3-0ing.
But they did.
Oh,
Well,
that's true.
in
Did they-
play in regular season.
Yeah.
Wait, did they actually not in the regular season? Like a single time?
No.
That's
No, I don't remember that.
crazy. They got 3-0'd by the Roosters. Damn. Yeah,
Ooh.
lost one. Lost one to the Zillas. That's crazy. Lost 2 to the
Well, I mean, if you look
Floppas.
at like every single game that they lost, like there's gonna be one crazy one.
The
because
Owls
haven't
They
been
just
took
do a
him-
little bit of trolling.
Yeah, Owls took a map.
Mm.
Close one to the Sea Dragons. That's crazy. But then once the playoffs start, they 3-0.
Pity map.
Yeah. Bargain bin deal is always such a hard award to give out. Like I have absolutely no idea. It's also weird too because when we were actually looking at the drafts, there were a lot of captains that I don't know if they wanted to ice other people, but they would like use their remaining budget on a player. So I
Yep.
think that does kind of lead to some technically higher value players, even though they were like minimum bid. So like Pokemon Guy, for example, should have been 1K, but Tommy wanted to spend the rest of his money on Pokemon Guy, so I think he ended up technically being 69 or 59 or whatever.
Yep, same with Harchar for our team.
Yeah,
Exact same
Harchar.
situation. Ninja Drew. If you
Ninja
do, like any
Drew.
team that has 10K on the current sheet, like the
Oh, that's a
captain
good way
just spends
to
the rest
good
of
way
the
to
money
do
on
that.
it. And based off of that, like sort of mentality, like I don't know. I have two pulls for this. I would go somebody like Wind, but I think that Wind is sort of in contention for a couple other
Yeah.
awards that would take him away from this award. I think that Ari and Flip Flop are like the two craziest for their SR.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I have seen like somebody pop off harder on Juno than I've seen Flip Flop do. And then Ari just like the tangible like, yo, carrying on support, but also then the intangible like, yo, has the comms, has the team play to lead the Sea Dragons this far. Think that would make I think that would make both those two really
Yeah.
good shouts for that award, in my opinion.
Um,
Even though they're technically closer to like 100K.
Yeah, a couple too that I'm just looking at real quick. Dongmagler at 4K. I think he played pretty much every map, played pretty well. 4K is crazy. We have Transflect at 4K too. I think he's been really good on the Slouchers, and 4K is like super cheap. He's another one that like just I guess coming out of the draft, he is pretty even across all roles. So I feel like he's one of the more flexible players in the league. So him going for 4K I think is pretty surprising. Asmodeus, I think 55K. Like that's higher than some of the other ones, but I also think Asmo has been playing really well for the Bobcats this season. So
When he shows up, yeah.
yeah, I guess. Those are kind of the big ones that
I
stood out to
think
me.
Skyster and
Just-
Wind have been playing pretty well in his place, so.
Yeah, I basically yeah. Capri Wolven 1K. I know Capri Wolven hasn't been getting a lot of maps, but I feel like she's had a lot of she's played really well when she's been put in. I think Capri Wolven and Pollux I think are the only real 1K players. So that's really
Yeah, none of them
interesting.
dropped out.
Yeah, I mean, but like that's just such a weird award because there's
What happened to Polix?
They just
There's-
left.
Disappeared, chat.
yeah. There's just so much I think you could make cases for everyone that we've kind of mentioned there. It could come down to like how often they've been playing, or even if they're not playing every map, how well they're playing, like how they fit on the team, stuff like that. I feel like that's just such a hard one to predict. I don't know if you guys have any favorites right now or anything like that, but
I said to
I know, like, yeah, at least for me, I'd also like to shout out. I think Firecarder was like cheap because he went for late in the draft, and I think 250 is like good value.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I also want to shout out Flambeau for 80K.
Mhm.
I think Flambeau does like a really good job on the Slouchers, and like if you watch any of like the POV streams that Flambeau does, he's kind of like main calling on their team, and he's like the like plat diamond player, and it's
Yeah.
like he does so much for that team, and then he also just goes on Reinhardt sometimes. And if you watch a stream, he's the one that brings like the energy, and he's the one that like keeps like Slouchers going. And I think if they didn't have that energy, it'd be like a different team for
Yeah.
sure.
He's got the intent. He says you're making him blush in chat. Flambo does have those intangibles. It's like if you're watching it, it's like you're not ever gonna see like his energy he has in the games or his comms. But it's one of those things where it's like if you actually like you said, watch his streams or like hear their comms, it's like you can tell like how impactful he is. And like you said, 80k is pretty good, especially when you have people like even lower SR that are still going for more than him. Like someone, like 2 people in this chat. It's like
every map
crazy.
win, every fight win, like Flambeau is like so happy and he's like yelling at his team in a good way, and it's so funny.
That I think that is a good take, but like I said, I feel like that's just such a hard one to predict. I wouldn't be surprised to see Flambeau win. I think Flambeau's played really well this season, so I like the shout out there. Let's see. I have absolutely no idea who's going to get Commissioner's Award. That's the one that I just don't like really making any predictions for, because it basically comes down to whoever Riddle wants to give it to. So
what is that for?
It's
Whatever
basically
I want it to be.
He's just giving a shout out to someone. So I think
It's
last
just like
season it went to
special people.
Yeah, last season it went to the website team.
Okay.
Caster and producer.
Or broadcaster as a whole.
Yeah, or I don't know if it's going to be 1 award or 2 awards. I do think there's a lot of people that have been really stepping up this season. I feel like we've got a lot of fresh people kind of in the casting. I do think that has been one that I think Win has really kind of taken over. He's been doing a lot of casting, a lot of prodding. But we also have people like Topaz, Moon, Fire Carter came in at some point. EJ, I think, prodded a game. So I mean, there's a lot of people that have just kind of came out of nowhere and still helped out with the prod team. So it's been one of the.
You got to give a
surprises.
shout to that 4-man cast that Booney did too.
Yeah,
that one was crazy.
I genuinely think like if we allow giving awards again, like Booney's a great person to give it to. At least one of them.
Probably Booney and Wind.
Yeah, Booney
but like
and
same
Wind.
thing with Wind. Like he's probably gonna get another award.
Yeah.
Producer and caster.
It's
we're probably gonna keep it separate, and technically it's not the same as broadcaster. So.
Yeah.
I would make the argument that one of them wins producer, one of them wins caster. I don't really care who's who. We can count the games, but I think that both of them did an amazing job. You talk about Wind just like being ready for anything, and then you talk about Booney working not even double overtime, not even triple overtime sometimes, but quadruple overtimes on the games. Like, gotta give him a shout for that.
I think that it's one of those things where I think Booney has won one of those awards before, but I think caster and producer are the harder ones to kind of pick new people every season, because they've been giving out that award since Go for Watch League season 1, I think. And
they haven't picked a new person.
Yeah, we get to the point where almost everyone that has produced a game will have won it before. So like, I think I've won it, Riddle's won it, Wars won it, Neptune won. So I think a lot of those are people that do a lot of the casting here. So like Booney, I think winning it again could be. I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
But yeah.
I like hot take. I don't like that people don't get awards just because they've gotten it before.
Yeah,
like,
I could see that.
You see someone like Booney who's like 3 games a week he's casting and prodding, and he does like 3 in a row sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you have to like still recognize, even if he's done it before, just like the fact that he keeps doing it should be like a recognized thing.
Yeah. You know what? I said I wasn't gonna make a pick for Commissioner's Award. I'm gonna say Booney gets Commissioner's Award. I'm calling my shot here.
No Hall of Fame, but he'll get
that would be.
Commissioner.
He could get both, but that would be so funny if that was the case. If he doesn't get Hall of Fame, but Riddle gives him a little pat on the back and is like, "Good job, bud."
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if people didn't vote Booney for anything. Surely.
So yeah, PMA is another weird one.
I feel like PMA is always hard to like say, oh, this person gets it.
It's hard from especially being a third party, because like I haven't heard a lot of the comms on the team. I haven't been present in other teams like chats, so I don't know who's like really being that the positive energy, I guess, in all the teams too. So it's hard for me to like make a prediction because I only have so much information I'm working on. Yak in chat says Flambeau Jambo wins. That's another one that wouldn't surprise me. I don't know
if you don't give him bin deal, you give him PMA Peter.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. He's got to get an award for one of those.
I mean, you could also make the argument for Flambeau Jambo winning Most Improved. I think there are a lot of players that genuinely like made big steps up this season, especially like coming out of the draft. Like we see, I think the big ones are Pokemon Guy and Wind. Made huge climbs in SR. So I mean, there's a lot of players that kind of did that, like Sonic Ronic going from 3K to Masters. Topaz, I think, climbed a lot. There's been a few players. I don't know if Plat to Masters.
I'm gonna die on this hill. I'm dying on this hill. Okay. One, I don't think Ricky should win Most Improved. Granted, they have before. I just don't think they should.
I just won last season.
I know, and I don't think you should, in my opinion. Secondly, wow. I also think that, like, and I've said this to Pokemon Guy's face, I love the guy, right? And I think he is definitely in contention for other awards. But in my personal opinion, when you take a new player of any caliber, you put them on a team, they're going to improve. The improvement's guaranteed. All they need to do is, like, listen, you know? And they get the improvement by feedback from people who are better than them. That's my case.
Yeah.
I gotta look for it a lot of the time and actually, like, try.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But
that's a lot of it.
I like to see the improvement from season to season, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do. I understand. I understand that take.
If you don't think it should be given to a rookie, who would you put up then?
I had a list of people I was considering putting up that I dropped. Let me find that. One of them I know for a fact was Tommy, who went from I know he technically still is a substitute on the team, but I feel like he was like definitely like the quote-unquote sixth man of the Sayoris.
He was
I
like
think
the
he's
bench,
been playing really well, leading really well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let me get the other people. I would also give a shout to I think Allegra this season is somebody who he's also in contention for bargain bid deal too. But like when you see Allegro on the Ramshackle Roosters, in my opinion, you think, oh, he has to match Casey Dunn and Pneumonia, right? Because that's who he's coming in and out with, right? And yeah, obviously there's a little bit of an SR discrepancy, but just look at the money that was spent on them. Discrepancy. Allegro, 30K. Versus Pneumonia and Casey Dunn, who it's 2,600 and 2,800 spent. I think going in and matching that is like really valid, really valuable as a player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then other smaller shouts. I don't know if we give it to captains. I'd say EJ has also stepped up.
I
think
Ari's
Cupcake's
another one.
playing out of his mind. Or at least was. Then they got eliminated. Yeah. Those are a few of mine.
Yeah, I mean Sonic Ronic, if you're going off of your like, if you want to pick someone that's played before, I think Sonic Ronic has looked really good this season. I do think we've kind of known that. We've kind of known he's kind of a steal for his SR. Ever since like the Marshmallow Monster days, I feel like he's kind of been that one guy to like be a sleeper player that just kind of can hard carry. But yeah, I mean, I could see that going to a lot of players. Like I said earlier, I think there's been so many players this season that have really stepped up and really improved. Yak's another one, especially on his off rolls, like being able to kind of put in that time and effort to improve and expand his hero pool has been pretty respectable. But yeah. Anyone?
That's just
anyone
my
you're
opinion,
thinking?
though. I know that's not gonna be like reflected 100% at any point in time. I'm just saying my 2 cents.
Yeah. Fire or Riddle? Do you have any?
You can go first if you want.
I don't know if Riddle wants to say anything because I know he's probably going to be a big part of deciding
I haven't
these.
thought about. I haven't thought about it like at all.
Oh.
For now, so because I mean we just haven't had to bring it up.
Yeah.
So
Cause,
we usually bring it up
only have
closer to the awards.
like 2 more weeks. Do you know when your plan is to do the
3.
awards? 3?
Oh
yeah, I guess, yeah. Are you gonna do it right after the regular season, or are you gonna do it closer to next season?
It depends.
Yeah.
Sort of
No-
just
no
when the
plans
grand
yet?
finals are probably. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Set plans.
Okay.
Let's see.
What about you, Fire? You got any
Yeah,
most improved?
I would like. I understand like the argument with the ring or with the
Rookies.
like new people. Yeah, with the rookies, and like I could still see arguments being made for like Wind or Topaz, but like I think if you're looking at rookies, it probably still would be Pokemon Guy or maybe Capri Wolven. I think they've both played really well. I don't know with like maybe like hot take with Wind, but I feel like some of it has to be like a GUR SR calc kind of issue.
Well, no, because that SR was accurate.
Yeah, but
Riddle will fight you
but
for
like
this.
well, he was diamond. He was
Riddle, by the
diamond on
way.
PC, but on console he was Masters 2.
Masters 2, that was in the calc at least before. On console, he was stuck Diamond 5 with 100 games played.
Oh,
Yeah. Riddle probably knows stuff that we don't, so I'll
Sure,
respect
yeah.
it. But
with like
And I had that
Wind-
Masters in the calc too. So
okay, sure, yeah. With and then like Topaz as well. Like I think it's a good shout. It's kind of hard when you're talking like Juno meta, because I feel like a lot of like people who play Juno are just gonna get like boosted SR.
yeah.
So like saying like just the number, I feel like doesn't do it justice. I feel like Topaz has played a lot better as the seasons progressed as well.
Yeah.
But that's like what War said. That's like in part of like him playing on MNSU and getting like pro level coaching and stuff like that, which is like it's
most
hard to
improved is-
argue.
it's supposed to be like over the course of the season. a lot of
Sure.
times, so it's like you got
Yeah.
it last season because we saw you were playing on the Sleepy Slimes. At least like not just the performance of the team itself, but how you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't like it, to put it one way. And then you eventually got traded and you went to the Corsairs and you sort of like, I didn't know that you got a lot of coaching from Sully. You were basically his son. You still are basically. And I mean,
Neptune's my goat.
you just improved a lot, so that's why you're able to get it last season. So I mean,
Sure.
I don't see why the rookies can't get it if we see a
Yeah.
huge improvement like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of contention for like
Yeah.
rookies who improved really like strongly. And
Yeah.
like I understand like the argument from War as well, where it's like some like it's hard to, it's like some rookies have like unfair advantage almost, like
Yeah.
in that aspect, because they have like access to good coaching and it's like that. But
Well,
I think
everyone has that too.
True.
So
sure, but I mean, like, if you have like someone on your team, or like you're hiring a coach on a different team you're playing on, it's like more direct access.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of climbing too. Not to pat myself on the back, but I feel like I have gotten a pretty decent amount better coming in from the season. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could go to literally anyone. Best captain's another one that's kind of I could see a lot of people winning that. If I were to pick one person right now for best captain, and you know what, I would say my top three right now for best candidate are the headquarters boys. So EJ, Sonic Chronic, and Skycer. I think those guys have stood up. They've been organizing a lot of scrims. They've really brought their teams together, and they've performed really well throughout the season. Those would be my top three right now. So
My best captain's gonna be one of my write that downs. So
ooh, you're saving that.
yeah, saving that.
Or-
I don't think that person's gonna get it, but
Yeah.
I think I want to wait to write that down on him getting it because I think he deserves it.
so it's not Charlotte. It's what
No, I think it's gonna be
Not
Jack.
Charlie.
I think Jack's gonna win best captain.
Yeah, I know that'd be crazy.
So I mean,
That'd
I
be
think I
crazy.
can agree with Geister, Sonic, and EJ. I think that's
Those are at least the favorites
Sort
right
of the
now. I do
default.
think there are some people too that have I think done a very good job as captain. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them get that shout. I do think Fire on the Bobcats has really kind of brought his team together too. I know they looked really rough towards the beginning of the season, but I think
Traded
you guys
fast.
have really you guys have really gotten better throughout the season.
Yeah, I think like some of it with like the captains are it's partly based on like the players,
Yeah.
right? Like you see some teams who like are constantly scrimming, and like a lot of that like it is because the captains want to, but like it's mostly because the players want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You know, like
Um,
if you're on like a lower team and they don't really want to scrim, then like like obviously the captain isn't gonna like try and push that. So it's
Yeah,
just like
so-
community league.
like for example too, let me use the Quails. It's like I know they scrim a lot, but that does also come down to Skycer. Like Skycer drafted that team. Skycer drafted the players that I think he knew wanted to scrim, wanted to get that work in, and I think it's really kind of gone to show. And I think you can say the same about Sonic, Ronic, and EJ, as they're all three of them have been scrimming. They've been organizing ringer teams, and even though the players want to be making those scrims, I feel like the captains, having done their homework in the draft, looked at who wanted to scrim when, availability, and everything like that. I think that also kind of has to be taken into account with these awards, or with that award specifically.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Anyone else you guys want to give a shout out before we move on to the two big ones?
I think that Tommy had the best draft. That's all I gotta say.
He got basically everyone he wanted. Like,
Yeah, I
He-
think
he
had the best
basically
draft.
wrote it on a
I don't wanna
paper,
say he's the best
turned it in, and just went to
captain,
sleep.
But like, yeah,
I mean,
think he had the
Skycer
best
did
draft.
too, didn't he?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
I-
no, there's one small thing that Skycer, I
Oh,
think.
it's a small
didn't
thing, but
get. Yeah,
I think
but,
the
mean,
core, he
it's
got the core he
interchangeable.
wanted.
he just
Yeah.
he knew that it was just gonna. It's basically given,
Mhm.
at least with how much he thought like a lot of the players would go for. Like I think he expected say Connick to go for less, but that's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter really with how much the rest of the players went for.
That's
Other
true.
than Elko, so
But yeah, I guess let's move on to the last two. I think from this, let's pivot into the write that down, and then we can finish off with our little housekeeping stuff. We want to make a couple of announcements at the end. So, Rookie of the Year and MVP. I want to hear what you guys think, but I want to go last because I think that I do want this to be my write that down.
I'm gonna take either Ari or Bardock as Rookie of the Year, and I'm gonna take either Wind or I don't know who else is like the lead. Oh yeah, Wind could also be Rookie of the Year too. I'm just gonna put all three of those in a bubble and say Rookie of the Year
Yeah.
MVP candidates. All right, I'm happy with that. I don't know.
What about you, Fire? You got any MVP / Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, it's like this, like same thing as War. Basically, it's like low hanging fruit, but like it's kind of the right thing. I think Mardox has done really good. I think Winston really good, and I think Ari's been like very improved as well. If I were to make like a guess, I would probably, or at least if I were doing, I'd probably have Win be Rookie of the Year, Mardox be MVP, and then you could have like Ari be Most Improved or something like that. But I could see like all those being like interchanged.
Yeah. Well, now my write that down doesn't feel as good because I was gonna say the same thing.
yeah.
So I'll think of a different one. Right now I want to support my boy Mardock, so I'm gonna have him win MVP. But I think between the two of them, I think whoever doesn't win MVP is gonna win Rookie of the Year. I think Ari, I would like to give him a shout out. I think Most Improved could be good. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Ari win Rookie of the Year in there either. But I think those are kind of the three big standout rookies this season. I think they all have been playing good enough to get that shout. The fact that all three of them got nominated for MVP too is crazy. I don't know the stats of how many rookies have been nominated for MVP. So, and it could have been more if
one
Fire
last
nominated
season, to be
Moon instead
fair.
of himself. Yeah, I mean that
Or-
season. I
or
think season
Topaz, right?
or Topaz.
And
Yeah,
also, didn't Cal Gaming
season
win?
3. It was
Yeah.
Cal won MVP and Elko won Rookie of the Year, I believe, that season. So I think the last season that MVP was not a rookie was season 4 when it was Elko, I think. Yeah. And then oh yeah, and then after that it was people that have kind of been in the league for a little bit. So, but yeah. So yeah, I'll agree with that. And I guess like I think all the people that got nominated for MVP did have really good seasons. I also think there have been a lot of insane rookies. The fact that like Moon and AST are also rookies, I think they've played really well this season too. Topaz, like we kind of mentioned, has been climbing a lot lately too. There's been a lot of like very good Capri Wolven and Pokemon Guy. I know we mentioned them earlier too. There've been so many good rookies this season. So such a good pool coming into the league. I feel like we just don't have enough words to kind of share between all of them, but yeah. So write that down.
Yeah.
What we start with the guests normally. So Fire, do you have anything prepared? I'll change my write that down real quick actually. So.
Right, prepared for what?
Right. Do you have any write that down? Any bold predictions?
Any bold predict like for what? For the...
At all for anything. Like, I mean, before we've had it for like this next coming season, or we've had it for Pokemon, or we've just really had it for anything. We've had it for stats, which is, I saw Flambeau ask earlier if it's correct or not. But it still has yet to be determined, so he still has yet to be that. But it's really just anything. I sent it in the podcast chat if you want to see what people have down right now.
Sure.
Do you want us to skip you for now?
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can go if you need.
Yeah, you go. You go where?
Alrighty. With my first prediction, if I look at all the beautiful captains, there's only one that I can look at and see. I don't see a single flaw with what they've done. Every other one I can point at and I can say, oh, you did this wrong, or you did that wrong. And I think that captain is EJ. So I think EJ should win best captain, even though I believe he's already won it before.
On the Hogs, but yeah, I think that is, like I said earlier too. Like that's he definitely has had a really good season. I like
Do you
that.
want to look through the ones that we had before, if you want to see those, or do you want to keep going and then look at the previous ones and see if they've been correct or not?
Oh, true. We
Yeah, do that now or
definitely
after?
should look through. Yeah.
Also, change topic again.
Oh yeah. My bad. Do you ever write that down? You want to do Riddle? I can go. I have one prepped here.
Yeah, you
So I know I mentioned my WWE 2K sim. My write that down is that every single match is going to be predicted correctly. So that's five matches. Slouchers
From
beat the
now
Quails. Yep. I think it's going to be the last 5 games of the playoffs are going to match perfectly. So that was I guess we don't count the Roosters, even though the WWE thing was before that. But the Slouchers beat the Quails. The the Sea Dragons beat the Apes, the Roosters beat the Sea Dragons, and then the Roosters beat the Slouchers. So 4 games. I'm gonna predict all 4 of those go exactly like.
Roosters beat Ape, and then Roosters beat Slouch.
Oh, you know what? We forgot to go over our last one and see which ones are right or not.
That's we literally said that, Paninii.
That's just what I asked.
Yeah.
I forgot that's what you were referring to.
Do you want to do? That's why I was asking. Do I do that now or after we write ours?
I thought you were talking to Fire about if he wanted to do. Okay. Here, let's do one round and then we'll go into that. So when you and Fire get your ones down.
You have one right now, Fire. Or do you want me to come up with one quick?
Yeah, you can go.
Can't do any awards because I side for the awards.
Yeah.
The Roosters won't win at all.
They won't win the championship.
Roosters
win
won't
the
win Grands.
next match, or
Roosters will not win. This means that they will make it to Grand
Interesting.
Finals, but they will not win.
Interesting.
See that.
It's sort of like a land, but all right, you got one.
Gosh. I don't know. I would say I think Bobcats versus Zillas got to be the match. I asked Yak for some help and he said FSB commissioner by next season.
You'll get there. Keep climbing the ladder, big guy.
Yeah, so that's tough for that.
He's been climbing the same ladder for like 5 seasons now. He'll make it to
what
the top
else?
sometime.
Surely.
What else? Booney not
Sure.
getting Hall of Fame.
So wait, what are the ones that you want? I mean, you can do 1 or 2 now, but you're only gonna be doing 2. So
Booney not getting Hall of Fame.
That's your write that down.
Which would be crazy. People vote Booney, please. People.
Guys,
They
we
had
gotta-
their propaganda moments where they said vote themselves for admin. I'm saying, but look at me. Vote Booney for Hall of Fame, chat. Do it right now.
We gotta prove. We all have to unite to prove Firestar Boss wrong.
Yup.
If we band together, we can take down Firestar Boss and get Booney at.
I voted for Booney.
I also voted for
Yeah,
Booney.
but then you'll be wrong. Is the
Booney just told me that the numbers were not going in his favor.
He told me very similar.
But-
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think you also
Oh.
can change your votes. I believe.
I got another. Write that down.
You got another one.
I-
Okay.
I think-
Before I was gonna say before we do that, Riddle, did you have one? Did you make your first
my
one yet?
first or second,
Yeah.
I did.
You did make your
So we
first.
have to
Okay, so then let's
research,
go into
yeah.
our. Oh yeah. Let's go into the.
let's
the
just
previous
finish.
one.
Let's
Give
just
me
finish
one
it. Let's
more.
just finish it.
Give
Give
me
me
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more.
Yeah, we're all on the mentality.
I think that for was the season 7
Mhm.
of Aurora, I think we're gonna have another LAN.
Ooh.
That's a
Like
Interesting.
another LAN is
bold
gonna happen.
prediction.
What does that mean? Like for a single match, or a series of matches, or grand finals, or playoffs, or what?
Just
I
at any
just so
point.
I.
I mean, at least one more match will be
We'll
like
have-
hosted in
match.
person.
Okay.
We'll have what do you want to say like
We'll have at least
What's
one
the
match
majority?
played on LAN. We'll have at least one match played
Okay.
on LAN. Right?
yeah.
And what does that mean? Like, does that mean a majority of the players, or like how many of the players need to be there for it to be a LAN?
I would say like
Half.
at
right?
least at least 5, but like split up between the teams.
Oh yeah, 5 total.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause I know Maverick was saying that he would be willing to host another LAN for like
I just
Aurora.
don't know how well it'd work.
True, but
I would show
Personally.
up to a LAN.
But okay, I'll let you go then. Before me.
Me up?
Yeah, we're
Yeah, sure. Since you went first.
Alrighty. I'm gonna give it, and I think this might be a bit bold, but with all the recruiting at Mankato, I think that this next season will have the most signups out of any season. I don't know what the most is, but
yeah.
I think we can beat that, chat.
Um,
Together.
I was gonna say something similar, so I'll change it now. I'll do
So
a
is this
different
including Aurora
Just
and
like most
Gopherwatch?
players signed
Aurora
up,
and
like but
Gopherwatch,
that
or-
includes captains too.
Aurora
Uh,
and Gopherwatch, or
I'll
just
do
Aurora?
everything. I'll do
Gopherwatch
everything
too.
if you want me to. Yeah.
one. I was gonna say.
Yeah, like I don't know what season it is either. So
Yeah.
I was
assume
gonna say
season
most
3, but-
teams was gonna be mine, but I'll change it now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 16 teams next season. It could be
16
a
would
lot
be
bigger.
crazy.
It'd be crazy.
If
yeah,
it's 16, it's still it might not break the record though, because wasn't there a 14 team season 1?
but 16 is
Season
bigger than
3.
14.
yeah,
but-
that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
The only other thing I can think of is because Overwatch 1 had, I think you guys had like 7 players per team, right? So you might have, even though you might have less teams, you might have more players, because there's more players on each roster. So I think they are technically slightly different, but I'll change mine. So, Riddle, did you have one?
Yeah, you go.
You want me
I
to go
don't-
first?
I'll-
I'm gonna hedge my bets here. I'm gonna say, for my write that down, I'm gonna say Paninii does not win admin. So either I'll get admin or I'll have an extra write that down in my back pocket.
You really like these hedge your bets things, okay? You really like these. You did
I'm
this with the
guaranteed to be
other
right.
prediction too.
I'm
yeah.
guaranteed to be right. So-
Riddle, poke from chat. Riddle, do you think this will be the most team season? Do you mean this next one, season 7, or not? Or this season?
I'm assuming that's
season
what he
6?
means.
Season 7. I mean, I could see it. I could see, like, Wind and me were getting like what I think is Milwaukee.
Yeah,
one
there
of
were like
those players
10.
in, right? There, some of the players there. I could see some more people from like BPL or Kitsune learn more about it because
That's-
you see Para and Shore and Sky and stuff come in, you know.
And then
I
you
talked
go
to
up, like,
Ohio too.
Um,
Um,
so I
got
mean,
people
I
needs
could
over
I
there.
could see it with that, but people always drop.
yeah.
People always come back. new people always
Iliad's
come
another
in.
one.
Alright. So
Capri Wolven, RiddleDog, Mardox, Sanami, Tommy Slat are all from Iliad. I think they have like 4 or 5 teams, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if any of those people join too. I think there's a lot
I was
of
telling
the pipeline is,
I was
is
telling-
heavy right now.
I was telling my Kitsune people about it, and I mean, I don't think they're gonna sign up for it, but
Yeah,
we could see.
there's a chance.
Let's see. I'm just looking at the previous ones I did. Gosh dang, I can't do any stupid awards.
You could go like next season money amounts. You could go.
Average SR.
Average SR would be a good one. Yeah.
What was it this season? The average SR is going to be higher next season.
Mm.
We'll go that.
I
Okay.
like that one.
How
I was
much higher?
considering doing that one.
I could see
Be more
that too.
specific.
Oh,
By
yeah, yeah.
100 or more. By 100 or more.
So 3,600 or more.
Wow,
100 or more is taking a risk. I like
that's
that.
a lot. Yeah.
I like that.
So
But
we're
you're
gonna go
right.
over-
Everybody's gonna smurf their way up to higher ranks on Juno. So
That's true.
all the support players like me and Panini are gonna be peak GM.
Oh, this is another thing I didn't even think about. So when you're doing averages, the outliers have a huge impact on swaying that average SR. Pokemon Guy was the big outlier this season, and he went from 1,700 to
Cone.
2,500. And Cone, I think Cone climbed a little bit too. I'm not sure exactly what he's at right now, but bringing those like outliers and pushing them up, I think definitely could impact it more than it seems like it
But it
will.
depends like who's leaving too. I know Fedora's leaving next season as well. He's been one of the higher up ones.
That's
What
a
the
good point
heck?
too.
What?
He's been thinking about it at least. But
Who's gonna play Torbjorn on my team next season? Then that's
Neptune.
crazy.
Neptune.
HV sec. HV. HV is basically
I don't know about those people. I don't know
HV
about
is a Tor
those
one trick now.
people. They seem
Oh, so
kind
you
of
just hate
weird.
Melon said I'll do it. If that makes you
Oh
feel
wait,
better.
I'll pick up Melon.
So-
I'll put it right here. I'll pick up Melon. Yeah.
Okay, so we can go back into these previous ones
Yeah.
as well. If Booney's still in chat, you can say yours. Go on.
Oh,
Tell me to write that down.
I'm sure he is.
I know you've included one before. Let's see. Do you want to do the soundboard then, Panini?
Yeah, I
Let's see
have
the
it. I have it
stuff
pulled up right now.
Okay. We don't know about Booney golfing. Booney ESPN overtime will happen at least one more time this season. All these are September 28th, and that did happen as well. We
Playoff
just saw it, I
games,
think,
yep.
a week or two ago. Yep. Let's see for Panini. Ari will run Rookie of the Year Season 6, still be determined. Red Cactus will run Pokemon Championship. Not happen. Not happen. Rooster 3L Slouchers Week 6. That happened. Firecrotter's gonna win Shapeshifter. As well, we don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. You never know. You never know.
Yep. So, mine was that next season we're gonna have 24 plus rookies. So we'll still see with that.
Season 7.
No teams
okay.
this season will go winless or undefeated. That's
Oh
correct.
yeah.
Whalefish runs Grands for Pokemon 3-1.
That's
I
a
got that
crazy
right.
pull, by the way. Big
I got
shout
that
to
right.
that.
Tapu Bulu will get the most chaos throughout the Grands. It didn't.
Oh, they did.
I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, I counted it afterwards, and it was just a different one of Whalefish's Pokemon getting all the kills. Blue didn't do that. Adam.
Surely, guys.
What
we don't
is
need to mention
this
this
Preds?
one. I have some very funny
Did he-
takes, okay?
What was this, Fred?
I don't know what they're talking about either. I must have missed something.
So, War was that Marduk's Rookie of the Year? We don't know.
Yep.
Grand Finals will be a rematch
That's-
of a Week 1 rematch.
so
Grand Finals
I-
will be a rematch of
It's
Week
still
1 game
possible,
with the
by
same
the way.
outcome.
what
It's
were
still
your
like possible in multiple combinations, I think.
apes, quails?
Yep, and then roosters and somebody else, I think. Let me scroll up. Wait, no. Apes,
That is
quails,
the weak one.
sea
Sea dragon,
dragons, and
slouchers.
slouchers. Yes,
That
so
was the other one.
roosters are the only person that would break that. Unless the
still
chip
possible.
cuppa come out of nowhere, guys. That'd be crazy.
I got a chip.
Ship Kappa from the top rope.
Okay, so some 2 bangers here for more. Slouchers 3-0 Roosters Week 6.
I don't
No.
think that has
Missing out.
to
Missing
I
out.
did think of. I
And the
was
purple
thinking
ape,
about that.
purple apes go undefeated regular season and playoffs. And Okay, now let's see.
What were you thinking on
Dude,
928?
Like, this is why Panini.
Oh,
Oh, his
Yep.
mic cut out. Rip.
your mic cut out.
R.I.P. R.I.p.
He can't hear
We've
us today.
He's
silenced
still
him.
talking.
His
He's
takes are
still
too
going.
hot.
What?
He was having mic issues earlier too, so hopefully he.
Oh, my bad.
There you go. You're good.
Yeah,
What were
your
you saying?
mic cut out.
Your hot
Oh,
takes.
My hot takes, sometimes they gotta get nerfed, okay? Like, and
Yeah.
this time they got nerfed because I knew I was gonna get flamed on the podcast, okay? I knew it was gonna be bad. So I needed to, like, simmer down a bit. Give some
Yeah,
cold
yeah.
takes.
Okay. So Skysir back in June 9th, Riddle wins the Pokemon League overall. Happened. Aurora Season 6, a main support, will win MVP. Nadir said this. Is that possible?
Ari.
It's possible, yeah.
It is possible with Ari, so it is not correct.
At least Ari. There
yeah.
might be another one, but.
Zom Ground will win back-to-back most KO titles. Okay, thank you for looking.
I cut you off there a little bit. Actually,
Zom
let me
did
double
not
check. Let me double check.
win back-to-back most KO title.
I don't think he
from
did
you.
not. Okay, I clicked that too soon. Let me double check real quick. Pokemon stats. It is. Oh, I think it was Mega Latias. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I think it was the two.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
45. Holy, it wasn't even close either.
So EJ, the season will have the most map 5s compared to any Gilfrush AOC season yet. We don't know, and I feel like I don't want to calc that yet, because I just don't want to have to do that right now, and then I also want to include playoffs. That.
Yeah, fair.
So to be determined. Couple makes playoff. Grand finals would go to map 7. We don't know. So.
Yeah.
That is what we have, unless Booney said another thing that he was saying, which I don't see. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Then let's get into our last two things we wanted to talk about. Real quick,
Change
kind of
stuff back to
housekeeping
with,
stuff. Oh shit, you're right. Let me get it pulled up. So I'll bring up my thing first.
Well, I mean, we can say mine first, since
Yeah, you go first.
it's more pertaining. So, yeah, for all those that are still here after a freaking hour and a half, all the forms, what was it, All-Star, MVP, Admin, and Hall of Fame are all closing a week from today. It's going to be the start of the new month, December, as well, and votes are closed, especially with a lot of the stuff. I know that, I mean, All-Star's sort of all over the place, as it always is, but MVP is very close as well. Admin is super, super close between four candidates. Between four candidates, and I haven't gotten a response to those in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So if you
A
haven't
week or
voted,
two. So,
Please
I'm
vote.
gonna send more announcements as it gets closer, yada yada yada, but make sure to voice your opinion on stuff, especially admin. As commissioner and head admin, I know that it is really important with stuff, so. And we use a weighted system, so it really helps the candidate if you vote.
But yeah, so like get that in before next week. Anything else you wanted to add to that, or is that?
Not really. I mean, I'm just probably gonna announce it soon after, and then once the voting closes, I'm gonna add the admins, whether it be new or returning, to a chat so we can start working, and then hopefully get it out.
Yep.
The sign-ups out in a couple weeks after the thing that Panini's talking about.
Yep. So other thing that I wanted to put out here, the 6v6 tournament has started to brew. We're starting to cook it up right now. I am going to open the signups Saturday, December 14th. They're going to close Saturday, December 21st, and the draft will be the 28th. We are going to do a draft format. Those are just kind of the big headlines. It looks like we are going to try to do it around the the first weekend of January, so right after New Year's. I will get more info about that. I just wanted to kind of give those dates just so you guys kind of know. I definitely wanted to wait until making any formal announcements until this season ends, because I don't want to really have anyone distracted or anything like that, or put too much on people's plate. So stay tuned. I'll give you guys more information, but those are just kind of the dates that are coming up soon. But other than that, after a long hour and a half, anything else you guys have before we go?
Yeah, man.
No?
The 6v6 should be fun. You'll hear more about it, especially when like finals, like grand finals for the season comes out. We're hoping to have it, like he said, I want to say 14th, was it? Where that should be like the end of the week for where grand finals are hoping to be scheduled as well. So have it open for a week. Normal season, like this season was open for 2 weeks. It doesn't sound like a long time, but it is a fairly long time, especially with a whole bunch of things coming out. So you'll be here. You'll hear about it. We'll have the rulebook out, stuff like that. So it should be fun. At least first, just weekend of January. A lot of the holiday stuff out of the way, So that's what we're hoping to do, and then kick off season 7 a couple weeks after that.
But yeah, very exciting. Stay tuned, everyone. But yeah, I think that just about does it. Good luck in the playoffs if you guys are still playing. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Thanks for staying for an hour and a half. Signing off, my name is Paninii. I'm here with Riddle, War, and Fire. Thank you guys all for joining the podcast today, and thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you guys have a nice night, and we'll see you next time.